my name is Brian. We're going to give you a quick walkthrough of our 1985 Westfalia van again. Should get you all the information you need for your rental so you can take advantage of all the amenities that Dusty Roads has to offer. Alright, so here we have our RV hookups. This one here is if you are in an RV park or whatnot and you have water available. I have a hose. It's under the seat in the van. We'll show you where that is later. So you would hook this up to your water source and you would have water in the sink inside. This one here is a hookup for electrical hookups if you are at a place that has those. The extension cord's in there as well, and this one is for filling the potable water tank. And I have a funnel and we'll go through that later as well. Down here is your propane tank. Turning it on, that will run your refrigerator. I'm gonna have all that taken care of when you pick up the van, so you won't have to mess with this at all. Alright, so now this is the gas tank to the van. We have this key right here. Stick it in, turn it, and it opens up. We do ask that you only use premium gasoline. My mechanic said that that's what he recommends, so I'm going to go with that. I want it to run as long as possible and get the most life out of it. When you do put in the gas, you do kind of have to listen to it. It's older, so it does want to overfill just a little bit, but if you're listening to it, you can catch it and shut it off. It's not a big deal if it does, but we try to minimize that. And then to put it back on, you have these little things here and that there. Just line it up, turn it, lock it, and just make sure it's on there good. All right, so let's go take a look at the engine. All right, so here we have a little lock button. Push that in, pull it up, and the engine compartment is under here. I generally just push this up. This kind of deadens the noise a little bit. Just fold them back. Turn these. Pull this out. And here she is. So, you shouldn't need in here at all, but if you do, this is the engine compartment. This right here is your radiator, your coolant. It is not pressurized, so it could be hot. You would just pull that hose off of there to open it, and then it can turn. I have a bottle of water underneath the seat that if it were to overheat, you could pour some of that in there to give it a rest, but that'll cool it down. Other than that, you do have your oil dipstick, which is right here. You just pull that out. You can check the oil. Everything is going to be taken care of prior to you taking off on your trip, but just in case, I do ask that you probably don't do anything mechanical to it. Maybe give me a call first, but this is where the engine is, and now you know. Now we have the rear closet, just a couple games and some accessories you may need. Toilet paper. This is a little first aid kit, pretty minimal. We got Frisbee cards, lantern, 2-person hammock. We got a little travel bocce ball. This is a rug that we use for outdoors. We generally put it by the sliding door, just so you're not stepping on dirt and whatnot. This is our jumper pack. It'll jump a diesel truck, so it's very powerful. It'll be charged when you leave it. I'll go through how to hook that up and where that is when we get to the battery portion. This here is your window cover for the front window. I'll go through and show you all the snaps and where that goes later in the video as well. We got some trash bags, some duct tape for whatever reason, and this here is your screen. It's a hot summer night and you want to sleep with the back open. This screen snaps in around this entire thing, so keeps bugs out, but it's still pretty nice. And I have a level in here. If you were to, you'd probably want it to be pretty level. Most people can just do it by eye, but I have some leveling blocks under the seat. I'll kind of show you how those work as well. But if you want to get really level, you can throw this on the counter and get it super level. Now to the inside. Okay. Obviously lots of room. I'm gonna start with the closet over here. So there's a little separation in the wrapping around here. This should always go towards the closet door, but you just kind of pull it out. It's gonna rub against here a little bit, and then you just do that. Get that out of the way. Now you have your table. Your closet is in here. Generally the sheets will be in there. There's a couple hangers. I do ask that you do not overstuff the closet. I did it once and it pulled the staples off the back here, and that's kind of impossible to fix, so just be wary of that. You got another mirror. We like to use these as hampers. We pack our clothes in there, do whatever you'd like with it. Right now the sheets are in there. Also, you'll have the propane turned on. If it is a cold night, you have just a normal like house thermostat. Right now it's on off. Set the temperature to wherever you want, turn it on, and it's gonna fire up. From there, separation in the back, just push it in. I do have it, I usually try to crank everything down just so it doesn't open in transit. If you do have power hooked up and you're at a campground, obviously you got your plugins there, pretty nice. Your heater is here too for that thermostat, so just make sure if you're going to sleep, you don't, when this bed's out, you don't shove clothing or anything up next to it that'll catch fire. You have a little light here. This is your stove. Just pull that little button. You got your stove here. Make sure that these are always turned off. You don't want a slow gas leak in here. There is a carbon monoxide detector in the back though, just in case. And then you have your sink here. And basically if there's water in there, you would just turn this to the right. You'll hear the pump going and the water will come out. Pretty simple. Yes, and this is not drinkable water. This is potable water for washing dishes, washing your hands, but nothing more. And I'll probably get a hold of you prior to the rental to see if you want the potable water tank full or not, or if you'd rather have it empty for going over mountain passes or whatever. Put this back in here real quick. Okay, from here you do have tons of utensils, everything you could possibly need. You got a little lighter, you got spatulas, salt and pepper, knives, everything you'll need. Scissors, all the silverware. In here you have plates and a little coffee press. There's gonna be plenty of pots and pans, cups, everything you'll need, so you shouldn't have to go to the store and Walmart or anything and get anything. It should be all covered. I will have this turned on. This is your refrigerator. The more you keep this thing closed, the colder it's gonna stay, especially in midsummer when it's 100 degrees out. You just want to keep it cold. It's kind of like a cooler. The more you open it, the more it warms up. So, but it will last a week plus, so you should be good to go there. All right, from there, I'm gonna pop the top. So to pop the top, you're just gonna, there's two little levers in here. You're just gonna squeeze those. It's gonna pop like that. Give it a little push, and then you grab this, and you just push it up. And that goes forward, now it's locked in. So now you have all the room you could possibly want. It's about 8-9 feet tall. This is your upper bed. So to open this, you'll just grab back here, kind of slide it forward like that, and then it's gonna come up and over and down. Generally, when I sleep up here, I put my feet towards that end because it's a little tight on your head if not, but that's it. We have sheets, so all that should be taken care of. And then to put it back, you just push it up and over. And then just give a little push back. Generally, when I first get to a campsite, I pop the top, leave this back, and I just shove all the gear up here. So if you are getting ready, you can cook or whatnot, and you still have all this room here. From there, we have the lower bed, which is pretty simple to open as well. So you're just gonna pull this button here, and then there's handles right here you pull on. So you're gonna go up, and it's just gonna fall right down in there. Might have to move this back cushion back just a hair so it falls down, but there you have your downstairs bed. Super roomy. That's it. Obviously all your curtains snap together. You just pull these, pull them across, snap them together. They tuck behind these cords here so they're out of your way and stay so no one can see in. And that'll be on every window, including the piece in there that'll snap to the front. And then you do have a nice tray. Through here you can kind of store things in. Up here is your cover in case you want to keep it as dark as possible. You can pop that up over the skylight to keep it a little darker. Now I will show you what's under the seat. So you're gonna lift this up and you're gonna hear a snap. Now you just push it down and that's gonna close it. And then I'm gonna open this again, pull that again. And then I'm gonna push this back pretty far and you're gonna pull this little thing and that's gonna rest there, keep it up out of your way. Now, if it were to rain, you can put this tarp over the front just so it doesn't get the canvas. Not a huge deal, but you know, if it's raining really hard, you might want to do that. There is bungees under here as well. Here's your cord, extension cord if you do have hookups, and that's going to connect on the outside where I showed you at the beginning of the video. We have some skillets. You can use the stove as much as you want. When I'm using the van, just to not make a mess, I generally use a Coleman stove that we pack in the van as well, and I just cook outside. It's more like camping. It's kind of fun, but feel free to use it if you'd like. There's a round griddle and a rectangular griddle in here. I do have an air compressor under here in this little slime case. If you were to have low pressure on your tires or something, it's not the best, but it will work. There's some work gloves down there if you were to need those. Little dustpan for sweeping out the inside. These are your leveling jacks, or your leveling blocks. Pretty slick. Just like Legos pretty much. You just kind of build a little ramp. You know, if you need a little more, you can double them up or however you want to do it, but they work really well. I think there's 10 of them in here, so feel free to use those to get your campsite a little more level. And please be sure not to forget these. It's an easy thing. It's the last thing you do when you're leaving a campsite, and pretty easy to forget and leave behind. Campsites have picnic tables. We have a tablecloth, and we also have some little clips to keep the tablecloth on the picnic tables in case it's windy. It's a nice little extra. It's gonna be at least 1 axe, maybe 2 in here. I have another one in the back. Chopping firewood. Your seat belts, if you were to have anyone riding in the back here, they're under here. You'll just push them up through the crack in the seat. Super simple. Okay, so if you have water hookups at your campsite, this hose, pretty self-explanatory. Hook it up to your source, hook it up to the van, you're good to go there. Jumper cables, I think they're 10 feet long, so should work in any situation that you might come across. This is for your potable water. If you have somewhere with a hose or some way to get water, just throw this down in the hole on the outside that has a lock on it, and just fill it up through there. Pretty slick. Got just some things that might come in useful. Some zip ties. I don't know. Just a little extra added thing. Never can have too many things. So that's it on this portion. Okay, moving on to the seats. Really cool thing about Vanagons is the front seats swivel. So the driver's seat only goes 90 degrees because the steering wheel's in the way, but the passenger seat full 180. One of the first things I do, other than popping the top when I get to a campsite, is I turn this seat around, because now you have a hangout area, and it's nice to be able to put on shoes or just sit and relax. So, open the door. So, right here is a little lever. So you're gonna push that down, then I generally just give it a good shove, and that breaks it loose. Now you can turn this seat all the way around, and then I generally pull the lever over here and generally bring it forward a little bit. Super nice. So now you have access to everything and you can hang out, and it's really nice. Another thing, if you were to turn this seat and you and your significant other or whatever want to have breakfast and stare at each other, you can put this table in between, you assemble that, very simple, put it right between you, look at each other's eyes, and have a great meal. If you plan on using the sink, we have a bucket here that you may have noticed, and if you're going to use a sink, the first thing you need to do is we need to go to the outside. I'm going to show you where the plug is. You need to pull that, otherwise the water doesn't want to drain. So I'll show you where that is. I generally, first thing, pull the plug, put the bucket underneath there, and all the water from washing your dishes or whatnot is just going to drain into the bucket. So we'll go look at that, and then I'll show you also where the drain is if you're done with your trip and have a tank full of water, how to drain that tank so you're not hauling that all the way back home. So, way under here, there is a plug. I don't know if you can see that. It's just a little cork plug. Pull that, you can put it inside the van, don't lose it. And then you're just gonna put that right under there. It's gonna collect all the water from, like I said, washing your dishes and whatnot. And then back here is, right up here is your tank, draining the tank to your water tank. So you just pull that all the way off. It's going to drain everything. It's just water, so that one you don't need to put a bucket underneath. That one we do just because you don't want to contaminate some of these nice national parks with dish soap or whatnot. So that's that. All right, now that we've gone through the entire inside of the van, I'm going to show you how to take the top down. You obviously wouldn't want to drive away with that up. It could cause a lot of damage. Very simple. Also, don't drive away. Make sure the skylight is down as well. You can have it cracked if you just need a little ventilation, but very minimal, like 1 inch or so. You just don't want to drive away with it completely open. So to take down the top, I generally take my hat off. I grab this guy, and you just grab this and you give it a little pull back. It's gonna start to come down. And then I grab up here just to kind of stop it a little bit. Now what I do, it's kind of silly, but I put this on my head, and you want to roll the top in. So when you're driving, you don't have any of the canvas hanging outside of the pop top. So you want to make sure everything's nice and tight. You don't want anything in the pinch points. So I just do this all the way around, and then I just kind of lower as I go. Make sure everything's out of the way. Pretty simple. Looks funny, but very effective. And then you just kind of let it go the rest of the way. And one last little check. Make sure it's out of this little area here. And then you're just gonna snug it down. And that's it. Okay, so if you were to need to jump start the van, I'm going to show you now where the batteries are located. There's 2 batteries in the van. The one behind the driver's seat is an auxiliary. It's going to be under here. You shouldn't need to do that. That's charging the battery as you're driving for your lights in the van. It doesn't control a whole lot other than that, but you do have separate power for that. So as far as your engine battery, it's right here under this flap. There's a screwdriver in the glove box. You take these 2 pieces off, and then you have a battery right there. The terminals are there and there. You'll just hook up the jumper pack or the jumper cables and go from there. Pretty simple. Also, we have CD player, very 90s. You will actually go this side first, right side first, get that in, and then that. As you'll see, there is no key in the van right now. This will run at all times, so anytime you get out of the van, you need to disconnect. To disconnect, you just push on this corner. It's a little old, so you have to push it and then give it a little pull, and just put that wherever. You can put it in the glove box, probably a better place for it. But that's that. That needs to be disconnected every time you get out of the van, or else you will drain the battery, and you'll need to use what I just told you about the battery locations. From there, I'm gonna go grab the curtain for the front window, and we're gonna do a quick install on that. Okay, so glove box, it does lock. You'll have the key when you go on your rental. Couple random things that we have in here. Obviously your owner's manual and registration will be in here, as well as our insurance card. Most likely you will have your own for your rental, but we will hand that to you. This is a previous one, but you generally put that in there as well. We do have a tripod in case you want to take any selfies or whatnot. Holds your phone, kind of nice. This is the screwdriver for your for accessing the battery, and then we have a lighter, kind of a fun altimeter in case you want to see the elevation we're at, and some extra light bulbs. Shouldn't need them. They're blinker light bulbs in there, but yeah, just a couple just in case items. Okay, so now I'm gonna go through the locks and locking the van. Pretty simple. All the doors minus the driver's door you can lock and then shut, but the driver's door you have to lock with a key, or you can lock it from the inside while it's shut and exit another door. But I'll show you how to lock every one. The slider right here is a little toggle. When that's down, that is locked. So if I were to shut the door right now, it's going to be locked. Unlock, lock. Okay. And then we're going to go front door. Like I said, this one's pretty simple, old school. You can just shut it or put it down and then shut it. It's locked. Won't open. Moving around the van, you come to the back. This one's kind of important and it's easy to forget about. If this is horizontal, it is unlocked, and that's the one you just push. So anytime you leave the van, if you don't want your stuff taken, make sure this is vertical. And now you can see it pushes in, but it will not open. So that is locked. Vertical, locked, horizontal, unlocked. Like I said, on this one, it will not let you put it down. Okay? So if you want to lock this door, like I said, if it's closed, you can lock it and exit another door, but you need to lock it from the door if you're going out that door. Simple turn to the right, brings that down. You can come over here and see that. Pretty simple. Now it's locked. A couple add-ons that we have for the van that you can book ahead of time with your rental booking is we have a Yakima skybox that can go on the Yakima rack up top. Like I said, let us know in advance, and for a little extra you can have a box and put all your gear in. It's kind of nice to have everything out of the van so you don't have to move stuff all the time. But yeah, that'll go on up there. You can also see up in top here, there's a little bit of storage, and we have some bungees. You can tie things down. That's also where the spare tire may be. And then we also have nice little add-on bottle opener. We do not condone drinking and driving, but if you're at camp, can't find one, there you go. We also offer a bike rack if you want to take bikes on your trip. This will accept a bike rack. I have a Yakima bike rack, slides in there. You cannot tow anything with this bumper and hitch setup. Okay, for opening the awning, we have a little thing here. And first things first, set this down real quick. You'll need to undo these. So you just loosen it a little bit. There's one over here. It's kind of a little wing nut thing. Loosen it. Now that's gonna let these slide. See that? Just take that and slide it. And now these are your legs. These are gonna come out. And I'm gonna take it most of the way out, and I'm just gonna take that little T-screw that I had, and I'm gonna tighten it up so it doesn't want to move, okay? And I'm gonna set it, being very careful against the van, and then I'm gonna come over here and do the same thing. I'll pull this way, and now it's gonna come down, okay? Now we're gonna pull this out away from the van. I'm gonna extend it pretty far, leaving a couple inches. I'm gonna tighten it back up. Now it will not go in or out, okay? Set that one down as well. Now this takes a little bit of muscle, but the main thing is here, these little grooves are gonna go on this little piece up in there. I don't know if you can see that. But just like that. Now it's in. The biggest thing is trying to not hit the van. It's easy to get going with the motion, and you can see there's a couple little nicks there, but we don't want to hit the van. So what I generally do is I take this arm and I push up, and I use the other one to rotate. And you can kind of hear it popping out. You'll have to like flip it a little bit to maybe pop out, And this is easiest done with 2 people. And you're just gonna kind of walk the legs out as you're extending it. So the other person will probably be on that end extending, but you're just gonna keep going until it gets to the end. Okay, so now it's fully extended, it's loose. You can adjust these however you want. If it looks like it's gonna rain, you can lower one so it rains and drains off the back so you don't have a big puddle in your area. But now that it's completely open and loose, I'm gonna retract it in a little bit and it just snugs that up a little bit, okay? That's it. You can put this back up there and you're good to go. Okay, once you get to the end, I think I need to loosen this a little bit. It's very soft. So now it's sucked itself completely in, and you can feel it snugging up. Snugging's the word. Now that it's closed, you can loosen that. Now you can slide this again. Go like that, bring it inside. You're gonna tuck this back like that, and you're just gonna push it in, and now it's back. Now you wanna lock it, so when you're driving down the road, it can't slide and pop out while you're driving. Same thing on this one, little different handle, little T-nut, loosen that up, swing it up, slide it in, up, and then tighten it. You do want to make sure that once you get it up, it slides back into here and locks so it can't come out also before you tighten this down. Other than that, that's the awning. Yeah, it comes in really handy for shade or when it's raining. So that's that. She's in pretty good shape for an old lady.